Hello, this is professional loan originator Dirk Walker. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to highlight the expertise, professionalism, knowledge, and financial benefit I know I can bring to you and your business. Today's a case study, and the reason I chose this specific transaction of mine is because I believe it's very representative of the challenges I know you and your clients are facing in today's lending environment, and the incredible importance a lending partner such as myself will have in the success of your business. But before I begin into the case study, I want to take a quick moment to summarize what is happening behind the scenes in the lending industry. The best thing to start off with is that the loan originator has a new job description. Today, we've got to be ever more diligent about our compliance and how we follow compliance. We've got to know how underwriting guidelines are changing on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. I spend over an hour every day updating myself on current changes. I've got to be able to read tax returns, be proactive about how I'm going to pre-underwrite a loan even before it hits an underwriter's desks. You've got to prove everything with hardcore documentation. You have to understand what's going on with property values and appraisals. The economy is ever so dynamic, and the impact that it's having with the changes in interest rates and being up to date in real time on this. And then finally, I think one of the most overlooked aspects is that you've got to have a strong working knowledge of financial planning. Now, that's not to say that you have to be a financial planner or show people how to invest their money, but you have to know how all of that is working and the relationships in there. I think all of this packed together is fantastic news for the industry. I'm very, very excited about it because now a loan originator has to be more professional and more proactive, and it just raises the bar in the whole industry. So now jumping into the case study. This is a typical Boulder home. Priced correctly, it had a great location, however it was a dated 1970s interior, complete with green shag carpet. It had been on the market for a long time and it was not getting much action. The sellers were even considering taking it off the market so they could put some dollars to improve the interior, make it more marketable, and therefore put it back on the market at a later date to increase the price, hopefully to get some additional money out of it. Well, the real estate agent had an open house and found a very interested buyer, but they had a very difficult and complex situation. The agent recommended that they call me. And so we sat down and did a comprehensive interview, and I took them through my proprietary 5-page questionnaire. As a result, we found out that their current home is owned free and clear, they have no debt, and they have a net worth of over $1.7 million. Now, you normally look at that and say, what's the problem? There should be no problem in these people being able to do this. Well, in today's world, you have to be able to show that you can repay that mortgage. So their income was the issue. Now, they had actual income of $4,300 a month, but due to their retirement situation, we could only use $3,300 a month. One question that we found out, what was more important to them, cash flow or cash reserves? It ended up being that they had cash reserves was the most important to them because they wanted to be able to put money in and do the improvements to the property. Their problems was that they went through they were looking at this as a traditional primary residence loan purchase, and same with the lenders that they had already been talking to. They could only qualify for $250,000, which was going to require them to use too much money and put them in an illiquid position. Furthermore, it was uncertain with how long that it would take them to sell their current home, and the sellers weren't open to accepting a contingency. We also had to do some additional due diligence to look at other options, whether they would be able to rent their home. Well, underwriting guidelines wouldn't allow any rental income offset on their current property. And the cash out was going to be, if they were going to do a cash out refinance to get additional money, would only allow them to get that $250,000, and it was going to be considered an investment property. So we came up with our solutions. I needed to find two ways to improve the borrower's income. The first way, and this goes back to that financial planning aspects, is that the borrower hadn't begun taking distributions from their pension. So we started that because the IRS was going to force them to do that in a year anyways, which allowed us to find $23,000 of additional documentable income. Furthermore, in the second platform was that we were able to look at purchasing the new property as an investment property. Therefore, underwriting guidelines were going to require us to get a comparable rent schedule from the appraisal and be able to use 75% of that income in order to qualify this borrower. Those two components allowed the borrower to now qualify for $400,000 instead of a $250,000. They needed less cash down payment. Their interest rate was only 0.25% higher. And if I go to the borrower's scenario here, you can see that the difference between 0.25% in $400,000 was only $83 a month in payment. And we were able to offset that $83 by having them consider a 5-year ARM, which actually was going to drop their payment by $250 a month. So when we start looking at these types of solutions, it's so important to think outside the box. This allowed them to have better liquidity and make improvements to that property. They have a cash cushion for emergencies. They've got better cash flow now because of the pension income. And their CPA was able to show them that the mortgage interest that they're going to be paying on the new loan was going to help them offset the income tax on their pension distributions. Wow, that's pretty amazing stuff. So, in the spirit of the Oscars, which were last Sunday, the winners are the buyers. They got their home. They have plenty of time to sell their current home. The sellers, they didn't have to use cash for their upgrades, sold their home faster. The listing agent got to close a challenging listing and made a large commission on that, and he's very likely to get the buyer's listing on their old home. As a lender, I got a nice loan out of it. I've got happy clients, and I've got a ecstatic lender partner. So, in conclusion, each and every transaction is more important than ever. Value is now going to be measured in a lender's ability to do upfront due diligence, have beautiful knowledge of all of the different market factors, be able to communicate that to the lender partner, and have professionalism in this industry. That's what I do. If you'd like to learn more, visit me at my website, dirkwalker.com, send me an email, or give me a call directly. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks so much. Have a